Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nancy. I used to mainly post about makeup related content. As you can see, I do love makeup. However, since then, I have grown a little bit out of the makeup obsession and have found other new obsessions, which one of them being are plants. So today's video, we're going to be doing a plant collection. So if you are new here, I hope that you like this channel. You'll give it a like at least, and then maybe stick around and subscribe. So with that being said, we're gonna start in this room, which is my office slash beauty room. As you can see, this is my makeup vanity, and in that mirror there you can see my IKEA cabinet. Then I have more makeup there in the closet, but without further ado, let's get started. So in this beautiful corner here is my planty corner. We have my IKEA cabinet, my Alex drawer, and then a little outside thing that's meant to be outside, but obviously I have it inside. I have some grow lights up here, which was all kind of done by me. My husband did do the hooks on top, but we're going to start with this corner. I have two other plants here, which we'll get to, but yeah, let's start with the top here. Okay, so this is my philodendron mammii. She just got a water, which will also be a new video for you guys to see. Sorry, I'm like, what is this? Is this a pest? No, I think it's one of the, what's it called, sap that the leaves release. But anyways, this is her. This was one of the plants I was thinking about selling just because we've been doing a lot of outdoorsy things like fishing, which you'll also be seeing on this channel. But she's been suffering. Sorry, I'm a little winded from climbing up the stairs here, or up the ladder. My bunsa. Anyways, this is how she lives on top of my cabinet. I have difficulty trying to pick out plants to be up here because I don't want to put too much weight. So as of right now, I just have these two. They benefit from the light that's up here, and these lights are really, really strong. I don't know how many foot candles they are. I just know that they're strong. Oy. Oh, sorry, one of the leaves was getting smushed by the door here. Okay, so we have this philodendron here, which is pretty, just watered. And then we have my philodendron Brazil, which, as you can see, travels all the way down. I just recently looped, because it was pretty bald up here, some leaves. It says that she's due for a watering, but maybe. I snoozed it for 2 more days on my app because I do use an app to water my plants. But I don't know, because this pot is like really deep, and the plant does have roots, but from when I last checked, the roots were right here. So there's this much of soil. So it typically stays a little bit moist longer than what my app indicates. But this is my Brazil, my philodendron Brazil. It's the only one I have right now of this type of plant. But let's get down and show you the rest. Now here is my IKEA cabinet, and then again the Brazil kind of trailing down, meeting my Gloriosum here, but we'll get to this point. So let's go ahead and look into the cabinet. As you can tell, it has pretty good humidity. We are at 72% humidity, and it is 72 degrees Fahrenheit in here. So here we have my begonias. I love this begonia. This is begonia Berkeli. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it looks so pretty. It has these beautiful velvety leaves. This is a newer leaf. You could tell by the color it hasn't greened. And then these gorgeous, stunning red backs. She was really thirsty. I just watered her, so her leaves are slowly starting to come back up. Next to it, I have my begonia Amphioxus. I love this plant. It's so pretty. It hates me though. It keeps dropping leaves, and I think it's a watering issue. I don't water it enough is what I'm guessing, but I'm not 100% sure. But it reminds me of something out of Dr. Seuss, so I really, really enjoy this plant, and I'm hoping that we can be friends. This one here is my philodendron. I don't know why I keep on this. Okay, I was saying that before. This one's my begonia bullata. I want to say it's pronounced. I'll try to leave the names on the screen for you guys. But she is growing. Well, let me put her down because the lighting's getting iffy. But she is growing. So we have new little baby leaves. Right there. Do you see it? Right there. Look at that cute little leaves. Oh, it's so cute. Can you see it? Yeah, oh my god, I love the way the leaves come out on this plant. Really, really cute. Then here we have my ping. This is a little heavy for me to carry because it is in semi-hydro, or pond is what it's called. And it was doing phenomenal. It was really big. It's still actually kind of big. It's growing a lot. I feel like the leaves aren't going flat down because it's trying to reach for the light now. You can see it did put out a bloom for me, but it's dying now. Now let's go to the second shelf here. So this is my Anthurium forgetii. This was the newest leaf that came with it when I purchased it during travel. I got this one from Bros with Hose. So it did come out damaged, but still really pretty. This is the newest leaf in my care, and I think it's absolutely beautiful, especially for the fact that I've been neglecting my plants for lack of explanation. And here's the newest leaf, which I'm trying not to necessarily touch because that's how you get these little cosmetic damages, but isn't it cute? Then we have my Anthurium beachy eye. I was going to say forgetii. My beachy eye. This is also a new leaf that I just recently put out. I'll put a picture of when it was like more that size. But look how pretty. This leaf is trying to like for the light. I have some mother lights in my cabinet, but this is it. And then this beauty over here is my Alocasia frydek, or Alocasia variegated frydek. I know that this is technically the term for this one, the Alocasia frydek, but a lot of people know the green one to be the frydek, so that's it. But look, she's so cute. I love her. You can tell I get excited about this plant. So as you can see, the leaves are upping in sizes. This one is the newest leaf here, and it's not fully grown yet, but I expect it to be bigger than this one. This one's the last newest one. Look how beautiful that looks. Absolutely gorgeous. This plant is stunning. I almost lost it, but I rehabbed it, and I still have it in moss. I think I almost lost it because it didn't have established roots, but oops. So you can see she's got roots now. I recently watered it, don't freak out you guys. So I want to see more roots than moss, and then I'll consider putting this in an actual like nursery pot with some soil. I don't do the semi-hydro really, so I'm a soil girly, but I just need to make sure that I don't kill it with the transferring. So we're acclimating it with the sphagnum moss. I'll probably do partial sphagnum moss and soil, so it kind of, you know, acclimates good. So down to the last layer of my cabinet. Please don't judge that my cabinet is so dirty. I haven't gotten around to cleaning it. But we have here my Anthurium crystallinum, which is one of, actually my very first Anthurium that I've ever had. And I'll insert a picture of when I first got it. You guys will see the major improvement in this plant. I love her so much. This was another plant that I almost sold as well, for the main reason that look what I'm doing to it. So it has a lot of cosmetic damage because of the lack of watering, and unfortunately now it is going to all the plants. Before they were very pretty and velvety green, sort of like my Anthurium forgetii, but because I haven't been keeping up with the watering, it is definitely showing up on the leaves now. Very delicate plants, they don't like a miss and step in watering. I do have it in this little pot, which I think I do need to repot, but I'm scared to because as I've learned with these pots that have like a lip, they're a little harder to get the plants out of. But when I first got this plant, it only had two, and it's since then put out so many like pups, but it only had two stems and it had two leaves, and that was it. And as you can see, she's getting ready to put out a new leaf. You see that? That's also a new growth point right here, and I have two more in the back there. So she's been doing a lot of growing. She could, like I said, definitely benefit from getting a bigger pot, but I've been putting it off because I'm scared of taking it out of that tiny pot. Right next to her, I have my Anthurium clarinervium, which is more like the heart, like really heart-shaped plant. Super pretty. I don't know why mine does this, and I did mention this in the other video because I'm still currently filming it right now. But the leaves are turning to the side, and I have no idea why it does that. Not all of them, but like this one did, and this one did. But these leaves are so pretty. And then I think she has a baby leaf coming up. Yeah, right here in the bottom. A little baby leaf too. Isn't she cute? Yeah, I'm super excited. So those are all the plants that I have inside my cabinet. Now we're on my Alex drawer, which I do use to store some planty stuff and makeup as well. But this gorgeous beauty here is my philodendron gloriosum. I absolutely love her. She is beautiful. She's also working on a new leaf there, as you can tell. I'm so excited for this plant. When I got her, she was like somewhere back here, I think. And she did have several leaves, but she's put out a lot of new growth since I've had her. And she actually did have thrips. I did mention this also in the other video where I'm watering my plants. I can show you this leaf here. Has all the thrip damage. This kind of looks like spider mite damage, but I've never seen spider mites on this plant. It's had thrips for sure. While it had thrips, it actually put out this leaf and this one, and they're really big because I had it enclosed with a clear garbage bag that I bought from Walmart, I think, or Lowe's, I don't remember. But it really loved that high humidity when it was enclosed. So yeah, the leaves came out really big. And as I mentioned, it gets a lot of light from that grow light here. Then plus I have this window on this side of my room. I want to say this is a west facing window. Yeah, this is a west-facing window. Sorry. I get so turned around when I think about directions. I was just trying to figure out which way was I facing or which way this window was facing. That's a west-facing window. So that's my gloriosum. Then over here we have, and I'm going to butcher the name because I always do, my Alocasia tigriana supra. I'm pretty sure I didn't pronounce it correctly. I, for one, speak Spanish and English. Not fluently in Spanish, but I speak both languages. And two, I'm also dyslexic, so pronunciation is not my forte, let's just say that. But this plant I also almost sold for the same reason that it was just really struggling. Like this one's starting to yellow now. I don't like yellowing leaves. I also don't like it when it's just a few leaves. I like really full and bushy plants. Very close internodal spacing. If it's leggy, I won't like it. But it's currently putting out a new leaf right there. Plus it has a little pup, I guess, here on the bottom that it's put out. And in the back here, we can see it has another growth point coming out. So another corm is coming out. And I'm not the type of person to remove the corms from my alocasia. I actually just let them grow. Main reason being is that I don't want multiple plants of the same plant in my collection. I'd rather just have them all in one pot so they can look fuller. And as far as selling them, I don't like selling my plants. I see it more, sorry if that interfered, I was fixing my earbud. I see it more of a hassle and more work to sell the plants. I'm not into collecting plants to make money. I'm not one who likes to sell my plants. I see that as more work. I already work with interacting with people, and I'm really an introvert, so I'm exhausted having to deal with people all day, and the last thing I want to do is deal with people on my weekends. I don't sell my plants. They either get tossed, gifted to people I already know, or I do this. I let them grow in the same pot. Take with that information as you will. I'm actually a really nice person. It's just I like to be left alone for the most part. So this next one next to it here is my philodendron Bellatier. As you can see, she's put out a lot of growth. Sorry. Started off with these smaller leaves back here when I first got it. Again, I do have pictures of a lot of my plants when I first got them, so I'll try to insert them as I show you guys so you guys can see how much my plants have grown or if there's been any change at all since I've got them. It's another one that's also growing a new leaf, as you can see here. I'm excited for that one because it looks promising. It's not here anymore. It actually died off, and I don't know what happened. But I used to have this in my cabinet, and then I took it out because it was too big. And after I took it out, as you can see, it was giving these beautiful, just like big, elongated leaves. So I was expecting it to continue doing that, and I think I first moved it on top of my cabinet here. And then I moved it down here, and I think it's the frequent moving it around that did this. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was the temp drop because we keep our house fairly cool and it's actually warmer in the cabinet than it is out here. But it gave the tiniest leaf. I mean, the leaf was tinier than this one, and it was somewhere back here, and it died off. Then after that tiny leaf, it gave this one, which this leaf is beautiful, and you can tell it's still kind of matured, not as mature as this one, but this one looks like it's gonna be something more like this. So we'll see. We'll see what it does for me. But it's so pretty and I love it. And over here I do have some calatheas that aren't doing the greatest because of my neglect. This one is my Calathea stormanti, and I know that there's differences. They're not all calatheas, but still, they're kind of under the same category. But that's the stormanti trio star. Then I have here my white fusion, which I completely chopped back. It was a lot prettier and fuller. Again, I'll insert pictures so you guys can see. But I forgot to water it, so I'm suffering the consequences. Then here we have my Maranta variegated version. We do have some mix. It came together. So we have the regular one. It's called the rabbit's foot, I think, right? And then we have the variegated. I don't know why it's doing this. I'm actually a little worried. I need to keep an eye on it. This is new growth, and I don't know why the new growth is doing this. But I'll keep you guys updated. I'm not necessarily asking for advice. I'm just trying to figure it out, which I do like to work out problems on my own, so please no unsolicited advice. But yeah, look at this. And then like I do water my plants with tap water, and I don't think that that's the problem, just because everyone here waters their plants with tap water. And I mean, like, the nurseries and stuff like that, it's not like they use special water. No, they use distilled water. We all get our water kind of from the same source, unless it's in a different county, but you know what I mean. So I'm like, it should be fine, but for some reason it's crisping. I don't know if I accidentally fertilized it twice, but then I feel like it would have attacked all the leaves. I don't know, but we'll see. Down here I have a lonely snake plant. Sorry, another mother light. This is a whale spin, and it's not doing so good. It hasn't really done much for me. It put out just the one leaf. I think that one over there is the original. This one's the new one, and there's a small growth, but it hasn't really done much for me. Okay, we're back on the step stool so I can show you my Hoyas here. So I have them hanging here in the corner. We have it zoomed, as you can see, and so they get light from the window here, that grow light, and then these grow lights. Gives you one step here. Okay, so this is the view up top. So we have my Hoya Curtsii, which I found at a local nursery here, and she's put out so much new growth. I mean, she trails, as you can tell. She also used to live in my cabinet, but was kind of blocking the light from my other plants, so I decided to move her out. They did go through a little I hate you phase from being moved out of the cabinet, but as you can see, it's growing. Look at this. I did propagate it a couple of times and put some of the props back, which I think is what this is, but they are also growing just new stems in general. I mean, look how pretty. If I don't can focus. But yeah, look, it's just growing. She stayed really full at top. I did struggle with her in underwatering, so she has shown some suffering from that, obviously. And then some of the leaves do get pulled off, unfortunately, because they get stuck under here. But I don't see that happening in the future anymore, just because of how long it's trailing now. But really, really pretty. Next to it, I have this Hoya, which I bought specifically, also from Bros with Hose, for this little location. I used to have a philodendron hydrangeum on here, but it was so hard because it was so big. I had it trailing. If I find a picture, I'll show you guys, but I had it trailing like off of here. I had it trailing off of here, and it was just all over the place, and it started suffering because I was too lazy to take it down and water it. And then I was kind of overwatering it sometimes because I would leave the water in this tray here. So it was just all bad all around. So I did rehome it, but I replaced it with these tiny Hoyas, which I think fills out the space really nicely. And I filled it up with Hoyas that will trail just like my curtsy eye. But this Hoya, I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'll leave it on the screen for you guys to see. As I mentioned, I purchased with the purpose of filling this area out. I've seen this Hoya in Wild Fern's video. She has it inside one of her IKEA cabinets. I think it's the wide or the tall, I don't remember. But it just looks so pretty and how full it was, and it was just kind of trailing down, and that's what I want. I want the same thing like I have from this Hoya. So that's that one. Then we have my Hoya variegata Cantiana? I'm not sure. I'll leave it on the screen for you guys to see. But she's so pretty. Let me turn this around. Look at her. How beautiful is that Hoya? I absolutely love her. I also got her from Bros with Hose. I've had her for a while now. I'm not sure for how long. But in the cabinet, when she lived in the cabinet, all her leaves were super pink like this one because they were so close to the light. So they got sun stressed. Now I think it's just the new growth that it has. Not all the leaves are pink. Look at this one. So cute, huh? And then we have this Hoya over here. Let me fix that light, hold on. Now we have that cable out of the way. Now we have my Hoya Super Silver, which isn't super silver. As you can tell, some of the leaves are really dark in greens. I don't know if it's reverting, if it's due to lighting, but we do have some really, really silvery leaves, and it's finally starting to put off some new growth for me. It was already a pretty full plant when I got it, also from Bros with Hose. But for some reason, some of the new growth that it had kind of just started dying off and yellowing. But now we actually have new growth, which makes me happy. And it looks really, really pretty. I love this little Hoya trailing corner. And I think that they get plenty of light. As I said, this is a west-facing window that we have to this side of the room. So they have light come in here in the afternoon. Then they have two overhead lighting. This is just a regular grow light bulb that I bought from Lowe's. It had really good reviews, and so far I haven't had any issues with them, so yep, absolutely love them. The last plant in this corner is my begonia. She's so sad. I love this begonia so much, and I struggle with her. I've been struggling with her. In the beginning, not so much. But for a while now, I've been struggling with her. So she used to be in my living room. And I had her in a smaller pot, and I repotted her into this pot. And ever since I made that transition, she's just been hating life. I mean, seriously, been hating life. So I chopped her up several times actually, kind of restarted her over. She is putting out new growth, so that makes me hopeful because I was getting ready to throw this plant away. Um, I have to show you guys what she used to be. She was so pretty. I mean, she was tall. She filled up this whole trellis. She was like my pride and joy. And now it's just this. Yeah, ever since I repotted her into this pot, she's just been hating life. But we keep trying. We keep trying. Okay, and then the last two plants in this room are these two, and they're probably the biggest ones, I think, in this room, given that's why they are on the floor. So this is my Philodendron Pink Princess. She was really pretty. She also had thrips. Has since recovered from thrips, although I do get some suspicious leaves from time to time. I do clean her leaves, and not so much from the mother plant, but from the little baby plants down here, which I guess I'll get in closer to show you. But she has these little tiny little growths. This leaf is so pretty, but you see how it's kind of misshapen? I get scared that's because of thrips. And then also too, because of this, you see that, is that a thrip? Is it? Hold on. No, it seems to be, it seems to be just damage to the leaf. But I swear it looks like a thrip. It's not moving though. It kind of feels like an indentation. But you see that damage to the leaf? That's thrip damage, I'm pretty sure. It's when they do the barreling into the leaves. And I don't see that on any other of the leaves. But, sorry, I'm just like inspecting the plant now. So I don't see that on any of the other leaves, nothing from the mother plant, and nothing else on these newer plants, unless that's the same thing. But I do also place, well actually I don't think I mentioned it, I use a systemic that kills the thrip larvae anytime that they're hatching and stuff. So look how many babies this plant has. And as I mentioned, I don't sell them, I don't prop them and sell them or anything like that. I'm just letting it grow, do her thing. This was another plant that I did consider on selling just because it was falling to neglect. As you can see, it's lost a lot of leaves on the bottom here. I don't know what I'm going to do with her. I kind of want to chop her up because I don't like that leggy naked stem. However, if she does start to grow babies like this, I might just leave it. I don't know. We'll see. Then to this corner, I have my very sort of an excuse, varicosum. I don't know what's up with this plant. I know I went a while without watering it. This one perks up and then it falls back down. And then this one just looks fine and it's just growing, living its life. I think I have to water it again. The soil's still wet. So I don't know. That's another plant I thought about selling just because I was neglecting it a little bit. And I don't want it to die. But they don't get very much light in this corner here. Again, that this is a south-facing window. This is the only source of light. So we do have another mother light here. That lamp I placed there, which also has a grow light. And then we have this one, which doesn't produce much light, and that's actually just a regular bulb. I might switch it out for a grow light as well. But so far, so good. They're kind of out of the way. I do water them in place, unfortunately, just because it's kind of hard to move them back and forth. With the exception of the times I've taken this to the shower, which is right next door, to clean its leaves from when it had thrips. But so far so good. I haven't seen anything else. Still cleaning its leaves. Obviously it's been a while, it's really dusty, but yeah. So that's it for the office. Let's go to the living room. So editing me a few days later from filming my video, I forgot about this plant in my office. So this is another begonia that I have, and I keep it in this sort of little greenhouse. It's actually a candle holder that I purchased from Walmart. I like it because it has an opening for air, and then I want to say it holds good humidity. So I put this plant in here, which I actually did give this plant a name. I named it, why am I drawing a blank? That's kind of embarrassing. I named it Maleficent just because of the dark colored and that super bright green, and then it's sort of, you know, like red purplish in the background. If you're a Disney fan, then you know. But I love this plant. It's super cute and super tiny. Don't mind my trash, just ignore that. So this one, I have no idea how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to bother trying. But if we can see, if the camera will focus, oh, you can see it. It has little fuzzies, which I was not expecting on this plant. And I honestly cannot wait to have just a big, full, beautiful plant of this one here. And the reason I kept it separate from the rest of my plants is just because it had some suspicious leaves when it first came, which they have all died off, which very well could have just been, what's it called? Transportation damage, you know, from it being mailed over. But I didn't want to take the risk. So if we look at the leaves here, the quality just left, probably due to lack of lighting. But if we look at the leaves here, you see how it kind of has like, yeah, I think if the lighting hits it right, the damage, I wasn't sure if that was cosmetic damage due to travel or if it's cosmetic damage due to pests. So I did treat it. I sprayed it down with a really good, I don't remember if I used, I'm drawing blanks, I'm sorry. It's Monday, my first day back from Thanksgiving break, and my mind's not working. I have two sprays that I use for pests. I can't remember their names, but I'll leave it on the screen for you guys to see. But yeah, I did spray it down, I think with both, not at the same time, but individually on different days. So I don't think that there's any pests on this plant, and it has been growing really well since I've had it in here. Typically, I just used this little clear container. I filled up the bottom of it with some water and I let it slowly drink the water. Doesn't have anything else in here, and that seemed to do a really good job. The soil's still kind of moist, so, but I think I might have to fill the little container again. But yeah, it's in here. It's chilling. It's growing. I think I need a rotator again. But this is officially the last plant I have in my office. So these are all the plants I consider my living room plants. So we'll start with the little middle table here and work our way this way, and then we'll move in that direction. This plant here is just a pothos, which is two pothos put into one. It's a golden pothos. My friend Melissa gave me one. What is that? What is that? I don't know what that was. Sorry, there's like white stuff all over because we just put our Christmas tree up and it has like that fake snow. So I think that's what that was, but I'm not sure. And that's what all this is. It kind of like left dust everywhere. I was cleaning, but I haven't finished. The real life footage, you guys, real life. Anyways, this is two pothos in one, which I named Luna and Hermione. So Hermione was gifted to me by my friend Melissa, which kind of started all of my plant obsession, but not really. I had already had a plant, which I had named Henry. It was also a pothos, and it sadly died. It got some type of fungal thing on its leaves. Probably my fault because I didn't know anything about plants at the time, and I had left it in water. If I have a picture of Henry, I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see. But anyways, Melissa had given me a pothos cutting that she was growing at her home, and I named it Hermione. So Hermione, I left on my counter, I think, where I had Henry for a while. Then at work, there was a lonely pothos plant that had previously belonged to a worker there who was no longer working there. And when I was getting ready to leave, technically still in reception, but I was considered afloat, so I went to all different facilities. And during COVID, they had me just at one facility only. And when I was getting ready to leave, when they started making us go to all the facilities again, one of the girls told me I should take a cutting from the pothos there, and so I did. That's the one I named Luna. So now this is both Luna and Hermione. She was longer trailing, but she's gotten bald from the top here, so I did wrap her in. I did see that she was putting out some new growth on some stems somewhere, but I think I covered it with more dirt so you can't see it. But yeah, this is her, and she gets light from this south-facing window here, and then that's another west-facing window, which brings in a lot of ambient lighting. So bright indirect light is what she gets most of the time. As you can tell, she's perfectly happy. When she's not happy is the lack of watering on my part, but overall I love this plant, and she makes a perfect coffee table plant. Up here we have Professor Snape, which is my snake plant, or Sansevieria. Sorry if that messed up the audio. I bought this plant at the mall somewhere. This was like maybe my second plant. Definitely one of my oldest plants that I have besides that pothos. Absolutely love him. Didn't have much of a root system because I went a long time without watering this plant. Gotten better. It was in my office and I've just moved it here to my living room. I've switched several times which plants I keep on that little shelf here because it doesn't get the best light from the two windows, even though it's closed. It's kind of higher up and still further. I don't think it gets very much light from this window, but it does get light from this window. But yeah, it looks good there. I like it, and I think it'll do just fine there. It's been growing, so we'll see. Then we have my beautiful ZZ plant here. My ZZ I used to keep on my countertop, and then I've recently moved it here because I wanted to grow more. Lately I've been a little confused with it because it's putting out new growth, as you can see in here. So we have this growth point and we have that one back there, but it's been killing off some leaves, so I don't know if I'm overwatering it. I know that they say that less is more with this plant. I just figured that because it's in a more sunnier spot. You see the spider webs? Oh, nothing like true life right here. Look at the spider webs. Oh my god, I need to clean my plants. Look at that. There's just dust everywhere. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, I thought because it was in a sunnier spot that it may need more water, but I think it doesn't. It's in the same pot that I had my philodendron Brazil in. So exact same pot, same size and everything, but I think this one, its roots are filling up the pot. That's why I figured it might need more. I know that they have rhizomes which look like potatoes, or maybe could be too, because when I check the soil, I sometimes check with the little meter, and I maybe stabbed the rhizomes and that's why they were dying. I don't know, but some of the leaves were yellowing, like for example like these. You see how this is kind of yellowing at the tip? So it starts like that, yellowing at the tip, and then before I know it, the whole damn stem is yellow. So the rest of it looks healthy and green, but we'll see. Now we have a euphorbia, which gets a lot of light there, so we can see it better, which does get a lot of light from this window here. This is a euphorbia mint cream. I don't know if it has another name for it, but that's what it was sold to me as from Bros with Hose. I have a real thing about euphorbias. I think they're so pretty. I love how this one has little tiny leaves and the variegation. Look at how pretty that variegation is. Sorry, my phone camera was kind of tripping out. But yeah, I love this plant. The variegation on it is so freaking pretty. Absolutely love it. Let me turn this other plant around and then I'll get back on. Okay, let me zoom out. This is my Monstera. Sorry, I was trying to blank. This is my Monstera albo, variegato, whatever you want to call it. and I absolutely love this plant. For the longest time, it did not really do much for me. It had the prettiest leaves when I first got it. Again, I'll insert a picture. As you can tell, hold on. As you can tell, this plant has been struggling. This plant, unfortunately, did suffer from thrips. That's what a lot of the damage is from. I have checked it several times, but these leaves just won't stop browning for me. Sorry for the lighting. And I don't know if it's because it still has thrips. I don't think that it does because I don't see thrips on it, and I don't see that like thrip damage. So I think it's just throwing a fit, but I'm not sure. It's made me sad because, which one? This one. One of the newer leaves, the white is also starting to brown. So, and then this kind of made me think like it was thrips too, but I don't see anything. And then I also have this one on a systemic as well. This is its newest leaf, so it is doing fairly well. I guess it's getting better. This is so freaking pretty. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. But it's been through a lot, and I don't know where to go with this plant. Okay, so this plant definitely has gone through a lot, and it's very, very, very beautiful. Definitely one of my favorites. How can it not be? But I have also struggled with it since it caught thrips. And then for the longest time, it wasn't putting out any new growth. It only had like these leaves here on the bottom. And then it finally gave me this one here, which is really pretty. Yeah, gave me this one here, which is really pretty. It was kind of reverting back, because then after that it gave me this one with no fenestrations whatsoever, but that is still a gorgeous leaf. Look at that variegation. Oh my god, beautiful. Sorry for the coloring. That's from the sun catchers that I have. Then it put out this leaf, which did bring back the fenestrations, as you can see, and this is the one that has the browning. And then we have this one. But look at the roots. Let me turn this back around. I never have it facing out towards us. I always have it like this. So you always see the backside of it. But look at these. Oh, almost dropped my light. Look at these monster aerial roots. So I've been leading them. This one kind of got away from me, so I always bump into it. But I've been leading the roots to go down back into the soil, because I don't want to cut them off, but I also don't want them out and about. And it looks like I might, I don't know when, get another leaf. So I need to extend her pole here. I don't remember what these trellises are called, but I'll insert it for you guys. They're kind of pricey, but I do really like them. This next one here is another snake plant. This is my Moonshine Sansevieria. Again, pronunciation, not my forte. But I love this plant. I recently just put out a new pup, which is this one right here. So freaking pretty. This was a plant that was gifted to me by my friend Melissa as well. She had another one. I think these started coming up available at our local store, which was like Walmart, Lowe's, you know. So she picked up a few, and then she was looking to rehome some, I guess, get rid of some. So she asked me if I wanted it, and I said yes, I'll take it. Then the boot I purchased online at Walmart. Sorry, this is the first time recording with my phone. So I'm getting used to like the lighting and the adjustment and the angling, so I do apologize if the quality isn't there. But anyways, the boot I did get from Walmart, and I got this idea from watching Plants by Crystal, I think is what it's called. I'll leave her handle on the screen for you guys to see as well. Where she put, there's a snake in my boot. Those of you who know that I'm a big movie buff. I love Disney. So yeah, I even wrote Andy on the bottom of the boot. It is kind of heavy though, and I think it washed off because of all the water. You guys can see the little tray here. It's actually quite dirty from the water stains. But yeah, I think it's really cute, and it's been loving this window. It's put off several new leaves here, and it has that kind of silvery green back. When I had it in lower lighting, it did give out like these more green leaves, but as you can see, the new leaf is silver. Oh, they're so pretty. I love this plant too. One of my favorites, no doubt. Okay, and if we move down here, which is just underneath the table I just showed you, we have more plants. I just have 3, but we'll start on this side. This one here is another snake plant. This one's actually my son's, and I bought it for him at Lowe's, I want to say, at one of our local Lowe's, and it has grown a lot, let me tell you. So this plant, sorry for all the jiggling and moving, this plant was just in a small 3-inch pot, I think, 4-inch pot, and it was just this main plant here, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, this one hasn't grown. It hasn't grown a new leaf at all. I'm just getting concerned now because of the yellowing there at the bottom. What's going on? But it put out several new pups. As you can see, this one's a new one. That is a new one. And then we have this one, which was the original new pup that it had put out. And it was in my son's room, but he kept knocking it over, so we moved it over here to the living room. And it has been moved to several spots. Maybe it doesn't like it here. This is its newest home. And I have just twine and these little grow lights here. They actually, they put off a lot of heat. These are really cute and they're really light. Everything is just getting them to stay. They don't stay. Sorry, I don't even know if I was showing you, but they're really bright. But yeah, it's been doing fairly well here. I don't know if it's an overwatering thing or underwatering. I want to say that I do a pretty good job in watering it. This is Tank's Green Stuff Succulent and Soil Mix that I have it in. So it's meant to dry out fairly quickly, so you can still give the plants water without it holding too much water. Just looking at this whole leaf. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'll have to keep an eye on that one because I don't like how the mother plant is yellowing. I don't know if you guys can tell. They're at the bottom. Maybe it's just losing leaves. Could be nothing, but we'll keep an eye on it. Then here, this big old monster of a plant. This is my Anthurium recans luxurians, or luxurians recans. I'm not sure. I got this from Bros with Hose too, and I absolutely love this plant. I'll insert a picture. I'm pretty sure I have one of when I first got it, so you guys can see how much it has grown. I mean, just look at this plant. This plant is insanely big and I absolutely love it. This is the first leaf I've seen it yellow, and I think it's one of the older leaves. Yeah, it is. It's the one here on the bottom. Here's another leaf on the inside that's going to... Oh, look, it has blooms. Look at all the blooms. I don't like Anthurium blooms. I'm probably gonna have a lot of plant people hate on me for that, but I don't. I don't like Anthurium blooms. I don't like philodendrons blooms. I just normally cut them off. I can do the seed things, but I just don't want to. I have no interest whatsoever in growing them from seeds or crossing them or anything like that. I just want the plants to be nice and bushy. This plant's a little dusty and to clean it, but it's just so pretty and it's so big. Oh, there's a new leaf. But yeah, look how gorgeous this plant is. I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of my favorites, and it's just in like a little small pot, if you guys can see. Okay, last plant that I have on this table is another snake plant that's actually doing pretty well. I don't remember the name of the snake plant, but I wanted it ever since I had seen it. I'll leave again the name of the screen here. But it's growing so big. I got it from a Etsy seller somewhere in Orange County, which is fairly close to me, a couple of hours away, but you know, same state. I would not recommend purchasing from this seller though. Let me zoom out. Just because the plant was tied with rubber bands together and then freshly potted. So when I got it sent out to me, there was just a mess. I mean, soil everywhere. And I wasn't sure if this plant was going to make it, but it did. I also put this plant in Tank's Green Stuff for succulents, so you can see the soil is like really chunky, and I only water when my app kind of tells me that it needs it. So it does dry out. Sometimes that soil does get mushrooms. I was drawing a blank. Okay, now we're gonna move to this little corner right here. So we'll start off with the bulb plant right there. I'm not gonna move the plants, I'm just gonna zoom in. So that there is a Syngonius Japanese. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or also commonly known as the frosted heart Syngonium. I did recently chop her, and when we get to my other section of plants in the kitchen and dining area, you'll see what I did. But you see this plant has a bunch of growth points, like a bunch of growth points. So that's the reason I chopped it, is because I wanted those to grow. And I had recently just lost all these leaves. It had leaves all the way up the stem, but this was one of those plants that suffered from my neglect. I forgot to water it, and all those leaves died. And I just kept losing leaves. And I seen that growth point, so you know what? I'm just gonna chop it. I know it's not the season to chop plants, but sometimes you just gotta do it, and it just happens. The one right next to it is my Hoya carrii reverse variegata or variegated, whatever you want to call it. This one I have almost lost, I don't know how many times. It was a lot bigger. Again, if I have pictures, I'll insert for you guys to see. And this is what I have left. So it also has new growth, and it's two plants from the same plant. So we have this one here, and then we have this little bottom one here that's barely starting to grow. And as you can see, it's put out fairly nice growth. Not all the leaves are growing, and I want to say this is also due to lack of watering. Sometimes it will just drop off its leaves. So I just pulled one off. Yeah. Sometimes it'll just drop off its new leaves. So like right here, that one dropped off. I don't know if that one's going to make it. It looks like it's growing, but sometimes it'll do that and then it'll just fall off. As you can see, it's fairly bare here, but still really pretty. Another plant I also almost sold. Then next to it we have my ficus. I forget what this one's called, so I'll leave it on the screen, but I know it is a ficus, a little baby tree. This one was very small when I got it, but I jumped on it because it went from like hundreds of dollars to like $12.99. I think I bought it from Bros with Hose. I think it was $12.99, either that or it was $20, no more than $20 for sure. But it's so cute. It's such a pretty plant. I've had really good luck with this one so far. I absolutely love the way the leaves look, that variegation is so freaking pretty. I used to have other ficuses which did not make it. They are not with us anymore. But I'm going to try my best to keep this one alive. I've had it for a while now. I want to say I bought this in early spring, and so far she's been growing. You can tell like these leaves are, sorry, looking at the camera, these leaves are a lot smaller, and she's been gradually growing. Back here we have my Syngonium aurea. This plant, that plant I will grab, hold on. Okay, here we go. This is my Syngonium aurea. She's really pretty. I like her a lot. But I'm just not in love with her. She kind of reminds me a lot of my Syngonium albo, which I have right next to it. I kind of want to pot them together. I don't know if I should. So this one's just in a little 4-inch terracotta pot, and it does have little growth points too, but they're not really growing. And then look at this leaf. So pretty. I don't know. It's like I like it, but I'm just not in love with it. And I think it's just because of the lack of the foliage. Like this compared to that. Given though that plant has been propagated so many times. And it's two plants. But yeah, I thought about it. I might just do it. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. But I mean, ultimately, I'm going to do what I think I'm going to do. But I think I might pot them together. Here, let me put this one back. Okay, and then we have that monster of a beauty right there. This is my Syngonium albo, which I absolutely love. Definitely one of my favorite plants. I'll probably say that about a lot of them, but this one is definitely like one of the top ones. I love this plant. So I originally got one from a local nursery called Spriggs here where I live. They did close down. I don't know if they're still open. They reopened at a different location, but I don't know if they made it. And then I bought another one from Steve's Leaves, and I potted them together. Then they declined over the last winter, and I chopped them all up, and then it grew new plants, and now it's turned into this beautiful thing. I did recently chop it as well. So I have one stem back here. Let me show you all the way in the back. This one right here that doesn't have any leaves. It's just stem, but it has growth points, as you can see. They're just not growing yet, and I think it's just because of the time of the year. But this plant is absolutely beautiful. I love this plant. Definitely one of my favorites. I also think that it needs to be repotted because it's like a whole lot of roots. This last time I had chopped and repotted that plant, I put it into this pot, and I noticed that it was kind of tight. So I do think that it's going to need a repot soon. But we'll wait and see. Then we have my neon pothos here, and oh my god, it's so freaking pretty. I absolutely love this plant. This plant also too is really near and dear in my heart. It's so pretty. I do chop it back a lot because that tends to trail a lot, and I just repotted in there. Since the last repotting, these were all the cuttings that I have in there, and it's just such a pretty plant. I love the color. It loves this little spot here. It gets light from obviously all these window sources, plus it has artificial lighting on here. So we do have another mother grow light here, which is the tallest one, which I did also stand up a little higher to reach higher for these plants on a pot. We make it work. Then we have a Celtec light bulb in this lamp here to give more light to these plants here that are on the floor that don't get enough lighting from the two windows here. But yeah, they absolutely loves this little corner. Is one of my favorite corners of the house. Okay, ignore the mess, my husband's mess in the background, but here is my little dwarf umbrella tree. Let me move it here because that background is not pretty. So this plant I bought from Walmart, I think, and she's just been doing so good. Let me get a better grip on it because I don't want to drop this plant. But yeah, she's just been doing so good. This was another plant that I did cover up in a plastic bag, garbage bag, because I thought it might possibly have thrips, though I've never seen it actually have thrips. I did treat it for thrips as a preventative, and I did also give it some of the stronger systemic, because I was using a natural systemic. This one's more chemical based, so it really loved being in the bag. And it grew a lot while in there and grew some crazy aerial roots. I don't know if you guys can see them. You see them there? Yeah. It definitely loved that high humidity, but you know, bags over your plants are not very aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, this plant I rotate once in a while. I see it's leaning more this way, so we're gonna put it back, but face it this way so the leaves on the other side get more light. There is another plant right here, but it's currently over by my sink, which I'll take you to now so you guys can see. But that's basically this corner. Okay, so this is my Monstera Thai constellation. This was what I was currently working on. I did stop because my kids were hungry, and my son sometimes doesn't want to be in the videos. I've asked him and I told him that I was taking this as a final agreement, and he said that when he does come out in them, he'll come out in them, but when he doesn't want to, he just will avoid being filmed. So I left my camera here. I was watering plants. And I'm leaving this one here because I do need to clean its leaves. This is my Monstera Thai constellation, which I got from Date Plant Co. And I've been struggling with mealies on this plant for a really long time. I can't get rid of them. Every time I look, there's always a new one so far, and I don't want to say that because I feel like I'm going to jinx myself if I do. I haven't seen any. That doesn't mean that they're not there though, so I'm going to continue to treat it. So I do use my own little mixture to clean its leaves in this spray bottle here, which is just a very light drop, a very small drop I should say, of dish soap, neem oil, and rubbing alcohol with water, and we just mix it and spray, and then I wipe the leaves, and does a fairly good job at killing the mealies. Whenever I see they grow a little bit immune to it, I just up the dosage of the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, and that seems to do the trick. So that's what I was waiting for. I'll get back to this as soon as I'm done filming this video. But yeah, my Thai constellation sits on that little table there by the window next to my dwarf umbrella tree. Then I forgot about this one. This one actually sits next to my Monstera albo and my moonshine snake plant. Sorry, I was forgetting what they were called when I was thinking about it. So this is my Pepermoides palea, variegata. Sure, so cute. Absolutely love this little plant. Look at that leaf. Oh my god. I love the little splashy leaves, but when we get a leaf like that, come on, you can't tell me that's not beautiful. So obviously she's a very tiny little baby thing here, but she is so pretty. I absolutely love her. I did get her on an Etsy shop as well during the summer. It almost died on me because of the heat. I was talking about it in the other video. We were away for the weekend when this plant came, so I wasn't able to immediately get it out of the mailbox. But when I did, it looked okay, but as the days progressed, the leaves started turning black and brown, and I could have contacted the seller, but it wasn't the seller's fault. It was mine. So I decided to go ahead and try regrowing it, and it worked. Obviously, all these leaves are new leaves that I've grown under my care. I had one leaf left that came originally when it was shipped, and it was the only one that did not get damaged, but it's grown and it's growing, and I can't wait for it to get bigger. I think the leaves look like about the same size that they were when they came here, just that the stem was a little longer, but they're so cute. Look at it. You see all the little freckles? That's what it looks like to me, little freckles, little variegation. Oh my god, this plant's so cute. I love it. Okay, so we're just on the other side of the living room. So here's the living room, here's the tree, and then this is my bar area, which has been taken over by plants. So this I consider to be a part of the kitchen. That's why I said they're not my living room plants, they're like my kitchen plants. So we'll start with what I have up top and in the counter. One sec. I went to go get my step stool and I realized I forgot this plant. We're back here in this corner. But I have a monkey tail cactus up here, which I normally keep outside in the front doorway, so I can get ample lighting. But of course it is starting to get cold, so I did bring it inside. So it's underneath directly of a grow light, which I also got from Walgreens, and that one's made specifically for growing seeds, so it does put up a lot of heat. I'm hoping that it'll thrive there, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's my monkey tail cactus. I can't believe I forgot about it. Okay, so up here, obviously on a hanger with a grow light, we have my Rick Rack cactus, which I absolutely love. This plant is so cute. Again, I used to have another vining plant on here. I think here actually had my neon pato, sorry, I forgot the name. But it was the same thing where it was getting so severely neglected because I was too lazy to bring it down, and then overwatered. Sorry, it's a whole theme here in this house with the plant neglect. But I wanted something easy that I can put up here and take down, but hopefully it would still trail. It's doing so good. Let me see, I can grab it. It was doing better, I'm not gonna lie. Where I had it previously, that's where I got all this new growth. I'll hold it for you guys to see. But see, like when I moved it, the growth suffered a little. It's because it was directly under a light before. And now, I mean, it's still technically under a light. It's just not directly underneath it. As you can see, it's kind of off to the side. But I think it still gets plenty of light because it is growing, just not like it was before. But I do love this plant a lot. It's so cute. I think it's so pretty. And then here on the counter is my, oh, sorry for all the shakiness. Here on the counter is my Alocasia Silver Dragon. This is the ugly side. I did turn it this way because I noticed all the leaves were facing this way, so we did turn her around. She's seen better days, not gonna lie, but she's still such a pretty plant. I absolutely love her. And as you can see, this one here is the mother plant, so it's putting off some really big leaves. I can't stand that it's giving me another bloom. I keep chopping off blooms. That's why it has such a big stem, because I've lost a lot of the leaves. Like I have another growth point, but I have so many dragon scale plants in here. Look at this one, it's a baby one. As I mentioned, I don't sell any of my plants. I may gift them away to like my friend Melissa or other people I know. I don't know very many people who like plants, but I don't like to sell my plants, just because, again, I'm not a people person per se. I'm not mean. I'm not saying that I'm mean. I'm just very socially awkward. So social things give me anxiety and I try to avoid them. And besides, I don't know why. Like I think I'm being fairly nice, and then people kind of just look at me like weird. I don't know if they think I'm being fake or extra. I don't know. To be quite honest, I just don't know. But I don't like social things, so if I have to sell, it means I have to interact with people. Is that another bloom? See, it keeps giving me blooms. I stand that I have to chop those off. But we have another new leaf here, and then obviously several little pups in this plant. But I love this plant. It's really pretty, and she just lives right there. As I mentioned, I did have it turned the other way where you can see all the pretty leaves, but I am trying to get the leaves to kind of just grow full and around bushy, so we'll see if that works. Now we'll go ahead and move down, and I guess we'll start with this plant here because this is a lonely one. This is my holiday cactus, Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus, whatever you want to call it. I honestly don't know the difference between all of them or if there is one. But definitely one of my favorites. It did bloom for me last year. No blooms this year from what I can see, but it's still early. Last time I think last time I did get blooms around this time of year. I'm not 100% sure, but she's been growing fairly well for me. And I love this little vase pot I have it in. It just looks so pretty. I used to have it somewhere in this corner, but as you can see, I don't have plants there anymore. It's just the grow lights and the maintenance and everything was just too much. So, and plus I needed more room for my books. That's what we did. I used to have every spot here filled, and I've been slowly kind of like decluttering some plants. I did sell a few, and some of them just made it to the plant graveyard and went out via trash. So that's what happens. This next one here is a Hoya. This is my Hoya polinera, and she has some beautiful new growth. I'm very proud of this Hoya, I'm not gonna lie, because when I first got it, I think it only had 1 or 2 stems, I don't recall, but it was a lot smaller than what it currently looks like now. And she does have some peduncles, which I'm not gonna jinx myself, because last time one of the vines, I don't remember which one it was, had a peduncle on every leaf stem, like every section of leaves had a peduncle, and they all died due to lack of watering. See the pattern? We see the pattern. So she just lives right here, right here. And then let's see if I can find that peduncle. Oh, it's right over there. Right over here. Hold on. Let's put her here so we can see the peduncle. Okay. Focus. Do you see it? Oh, it's so cute. These I think will bloom, but I'm not 100% sure. I want to see if I can find the other one. Hold on. I think that's a peduncle too. I don't know if you could tell. There's another. Do you see it? Right there. That's another peduncle. I think this one's the one. Yeah. So you see that spot right here on the leaf? That's where it had a peduncle, and the peduncle died. And then I think, yeah, here's the other one. Then it also had a peduncle right there, and that one died. Oh, nope, it's gone too. That one also had a peduncle, but this one looks like it still has its peduncle, and it might bloom too. Yeah, but due to lack of watering, it's the reason this plant lost its peduncle. So note to self, you guys, if you guys have this plant and you want it to bloom and it has peduncles, but they keep dying, that may be why. Because the minute I don't water this plant, which I need to water this today too, and I will, the peduncles will die. Let me put this back. Okay, we'll move to this pretty little lady over here. This is my smaller philodendron pink princess. This one belongs to my daughter. Ooh, we got a dead plant. So this was an all pink leaf, so I'm not surprised it just came off. I'm not surprised that it's dying. Like this one, you can see it's primarily pink. Yeah. Looks like damage there. But this was the first painted or pink lady that I had ever purchased, and I got her very expensive. I'm kind of embarrassed to say the price tag, but it was when she was still extremely expensive, and I was still new to plants, kind of, and I was willing to pay that price tag. So you live and you learn. Then I purchased that other one because it was bigger. This one took forever to grow, but she's finally growing. She looks really steady. And this was my daughter's pot. She used to have a polka dot plant, but it kept dying. I could not keep up with the watering with that plant. So I gave her this little philodendron pink princess, and she likes it, especially because it's a princess plant. Of course, I do all the care and maintenance for it. Then here is another one of my favorite plants. This is my Munjala, is that how you pronounce it? Pothos. I absolutely love this plant. Sorry, I see a yellow leaf in there. I love this plant. So this plant I got from Walmart for $3, and I think I bought two. Or maybe I had one. I can't recall. I just remember I had two small Munjala pothos, and I ended up getting one from Walmart and I think one from somewhere else, or maybe it was Walmart. I'm not sure. And I potted them together. So if I have pictures again, I'll insert so you guys can see the change and growth in it. But it was struggling for a while because I had it in a terracotta pot, which is still in a terracotta pot, but this one, the inside is lined. So it's kind of like porcelain inside, or close to porcelain. So it's in a decorative pot with drainage and also in Della tanks. But she looks so pretty, and since I've potted her into this pot with the soil, she's been doing great. She's grown so much. It's so crazy. I absolutely love this plant. She deserves a close-up. Look at that plant. Yeah. I know. Ever since I seen this, a huge plant of this, I forgot where. Look at that leaf. Oh my god, look at that new leaf. I wanted one. I wanted a big one. I love this plant. Okay, so let's go on. This one here is my Hoya pupacalix. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. This plant has also grown a lot. As you can see, it's vining. I used to have it over in the office because I wanted it to trail down, but As you can see, the runners don't trail down. And each of them do have little leaves, they just haven't grown yet. Not sure why. Probably because they need support. So I might trellis this plant, I don't know. But I just dropped my train. But if I do, I can't keep it here, and I don't know where else to put it, so we'll see. Now if we come down here, we have my philodendron silver stripe, which is almost the same as the Brazil, except that it has more of a white creamy variegation, where the other one's more of a green. And as you can see, she is trailing. I used to have another one, but it died. Yep, all that neglect. But look how cute. I want to keep her fairly small. I don't want a super one. If anything, I might let it get as big as this, or as that, and that's it. Which obviously will be with either growth and propagation. The only thing I don't like is that it gives like these tiny little leaves. But I have seen, is it Plants by Melissa? I think she had put this up on a moss pole, and the variegation actually started to revert, which looks like mine's is actually doing that too. So I don't know if it's like a pole thing or if it's just like a maturity thing. I don't know. Right next to it though, we do have a very classic, beautiful plant. This is my Pothos Snow Queen, or what's not Crimson Queen. What's the other one? It has two names, and I refuse to say that they're two different plants. It's either a Snow Queen or a Marble Queen. Is that what it is? I don't remember. I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And this plant's so pretty. This one's also from Rose with Hose. I used to have a huge one. Put it right here. I used to have a really big one before. Sorry for the lighting, but this is what we got to work with. But it died. It ended up catching spider mites, and I could not get rid of them. Look how pretty that leaf is. I could not get rid of them from the previous one, so I threw it outside, and then I forgot about it, and it died. So I seen that Rose with Hose were selling these, and I didn't want to get another one from Walmart because that's where I got the last one, and I could not get rid of the spider mites. I also had a Pothos Enjoy, I think is what it was, and both of them were placed outside, and I'm pretty sure they both died for the same reason, due to lack of care and just, well, me being over dealing with spider mites. Okay, so over here we have my mistletoe cactus. This plant is one of my pride and joys. I absolutely love this cactus. I used to have it on my windowsill, but it kept drying out too fast, so I moved it here where it has grow lights underneath and still gets plenty of light from my very dirty door, thanks to my dog. So yeah, this is where it lives, and it's doing really good. It's not gonna get that beautiful sun stressing anymore, I don't think. But it's growing, and it is staying hydrated longer, so I don't have to frequently water it as much. Then right next to it, I can't pronounce its name, but you can see it there, but it's commonly known as a strawberry begonia. This plant, I basically killed off. It was a lot bigger. I'll go ahead and post a picture as well of what it looked like when I got it. I was really happy, but I couldn't keep up with the watering. So I'm hoping to revive it. This is what's left of it, of what's growing back. You can look at the cute little tiny leaves. So I'm hoping that I can get this to be a fairly big plant. I did pot it in this little tiny cement pot that I purchased off of Etsy. Kind of pricey, but it's so worth it, ain't it? Look how cute this is. Oh, I love this pot. But yeah, I'm hoping to fill this out, and maybe I'll just leave it in this pot because the roots are kind of shallow. It came in a 5-inch pot. It came in a 5-inch pot when I got it, and it was more dirt than anything else. So I tried to put it in Della tanks, and that's when I killed it because I couldn't keep up with the watering. Lesson learned. So smaller pot it is, and we'll see how this goes. And over here we have what are these called? An orchid, which my brother Ruben gave to me for my birthday, or my mom, I'm not sure, but my brother's the one that handed it to me. I'm not a huge fan of orchids, not gonna lie, but I do love this one in particular because my family gave it to me. It was for my brother and my mom for my birthday, either last year or the year before. I recently put it in this pot during the summer. Oh, look at that, it has a root coming out. It has not given me any new flowers. I did cut the stem as it recommended in a video, but I think I probably should have left it. So we just have the leaves, which is fine. I'm more of a foliage girly too. These flowers I wouldn't mind having. They're actually really pretty. And the flowers from my Hoyas make me very happy, so we'll see if it ever puts any new growth out for me. Then we have my Syngonium Wandylandi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This plant goes from doing so good to doing so bad. So when I first bought it, it was really big. It was as big as my elbow Syngonium. Don't mind the train. I dropped it. Okay, I'll pick it up later. But again, this summer I struggled with watering it, so this is what happens. This plant is very finicky for me. Probably one of the toughest Syngoniums that you can get is this plant, I'm pretty sure. And it's not just the lighting, it's literally just yellowing like that. So the new leaves are very, very pretty. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't keep up with the watering. But look, it has a new growth coming out there in the bottom. Do you see it? How cute. And it has a lot of little growth points too. This plant I almost killed, brought it back from the dead, and now I almost killed it again, and now I brought it back from the dead. So we'll see what it does. I'm like, sorry. Peace, let's be friends. The last one we have here is my Dieffenbachia camouflage. I actually really like this plant too, and I also thought about selling it. But I decided to keep it because I do really enjoy it. And it's in a pot that I painted myself. We took the family to Color Me Mine, and we each painted something. That's what I made. It's a really cute pot. I like it. I'm hoping... Sorry, yellow leaf. I'm hoping it's not dying. The bottom of the stem here is yellow, and I don't know why. But it's putting out new growth. So I don't think so. This plant's really pretty. Some of the original leaves had really big dark spots like this. And that's the reason I like it. I like that green on green variegation, or like that light to dark contrast. So this plant can be really pretty. Again, if I have pictures of when I first got this plant, I'll show it to you guys. Don't mind the trash can. Sorry about that. Okay, the last area is this area here, which is my dining area, which primarily holds my Hoyas and cactus and succulents. South-facing window, so they get good light here all year round. I don't ever have to move them. As far as the cold, I haven't really noticed any cold damage with my plants touching the window, with the exception of one. So let's get into it. We'll start with this one here. This is my philodendron silver sword, which my friend Melissa actually got for me. I think I paid her back, though I'm not sure. I don't remember if she gifted to me or I gave her money for me to pick up. It had really big, pretty leaves, as you can tell. This is a Walmart purchase, I think, or Lowe's. And then for some reason, it gave me like a wonky little leaf, just like, sorry, trying to rotate here, just like the Billietiae. And now it's just putting out these little tiny baby leaves, and it looks like it's doing that philodendron thing where it's stuck. Do you see there? I need to water this anyway, so we'll do that with the other video. But it needs to be watered. And then here's the Alba Syngonium cutting. Look at that leaf. Isn't that fucking gorgeous? Sorry, excuse my language. Isn't it gorgeous? So I cut it, and I know I shouldn't have when I had another growth point right here. That died. But look, it's putting out a new leaf now that it's just in the water. But that's the most prettiest variegation. I've seen like variegated leaf. I think I took several pictures of that leaf too. So freaking pretty. I love it. Now we have just our regular green Hoya carrii. I bought this for myself when I was actually purchasing one for my friend Melissa because they were both on sale. And it's grown so much. This plant I actually almost lost to root rot due to overwatering. It does have smaller root systems than what it's really necessary for this pot. But again, I'm using Della Tank's soil mix, and it does dry out fairly quickly. Plus, it's in a terracotta pot, so I did this in hopes that it would actually stay wet or moist, I guess. Not wet, moist longer, but I can tell already it needs water. It's starting to get like that little wrinkly appearance. I don't know if you guys can tell, probably not because of the lighting, but it gets like this little wrinkly look. And that's how I know that it needs water. This one's another one that's been doing the same thing where it drops off the new leaves, so you can see, due to lack of watering. So that's the reason I did up the size, even though the root system wasn't necessarily big enough for this pot. It's just I have such a hard time keeping up with watering nowadays. Then I'm pretty sure that this is a peduncle. I've never seen this particular plant peduncles or what they look like. They're each a little bit different, but this one over here, that's a new growth point, which is a problem for me to solve later on because it is facing towards the wall, but it hasn't grown for me. So I did put out this, which I thought was a new vine because I snapped this one off by accident trying to get it to follow down. And then I seen that I was putting that off. I was like, wait, I think that's the growth point. I was like, maybe this is the peduncle, but it has not done anything for me whatsoever. But if you look at the tip there, do you see that? It doesn't look like it's a leaf growth. It looks like it's a peduncle growth. But it also put out this other vine here because I snapped that one off. So that's those two. This one here is my Hoya Crimson Queen. And she was one of my very first Hoyas I actually bought in Los Angeles at a trip with my friend, Melissa, and her friend. I don't remember her friend's name, but she was very nice. I think it was Eileen? I'm not sure. But she has bloomed for me so many times, and we've been up and down. We've been struggling a little. She's doing a lot better now. She's very pretty, and she really loves this spot. So you can see, look at her. Oh my god, I love this plant. Then look at that. Do you see that? That's how many peduncles she's put out. It looks so funny. And she has several. It's not the only one. Here's another one. Can you see it? Do you see it? She's so pretty. I absolutely love her. Okay. Then here we have my variegated Hoya compacta or indie rope, variegata, whichever you want to call it. This one I also got from Bros with Hose, another plant I extremely love. Loves the south-facing window. I have noticed it's recently been growing a lot more. I'll again insert a picture of how small she was when I first got her because she has grown. For those of you who say that she's a slow grower, she is definitely growing a lot slower than, for example, the Crimson Queen, but she's growing and she looks very pretty. Then right next to her we have my Hoya Australis Lisa, which one stem seems to be non-stop growing, which is this one right here. If you guys can see, it has that little growth point there, and the other stem just won't grow at all, and I have no idea why. It has a little pudge there at the top, but it just doesn't grow. Do you see it? I'm not sure why, and as far as I can see with my microscope, I don't show that it has any pests or anything, so don't know. Then right here we have my Hoya compacta. This is just the regular green one. This is 2-in-1. I did purchase one when it was still fairly expensive and it was a baby. And then another one my friend also picked up for me, and they are now potted together and trailing and just growing beautifully. The first one I got, which was small, did put out one bloom for me. I'll insert pictures, of course. But yeah, it's really cute, and I can't just wait for the whole thing to be trailing like that, even if it doesn't get very long, but for all of it to be trailing. Then, and this most of it is Hoyas, but we do have succulents here. So we have the traditional string of pearls. This is the regular green form, which you can tell is also trailing. And then we have the variegated form, which isn't trailing. I just keep stuffing it back in. It can technically be trailing, but I keep putting it back because I want a fuller base. And then once it's kind of full in here, I'll let it trail. Okay. Then we also have Hoya obovata. She is very full, very lush, and also very struggling. I can't keep up with the watering of this plant, and I want to say it's because she's in desperate need of a repot, but I just don't want to upsize her pot. I love the way she looks in combination with this pot, so maybe I'll buy another white one or just use one of the ones I have here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but she did bloom. That is a peduncle stem right there. I'll insert a picture of the blooms for you guys to see. It's the only one she's giving me so far. Another one I also thought about selling, but I couldn't part with her. Really, really pretty plant. Also loves the south-facing window, but I also think that she does get a little bit too much light here. So I do kind of want to rehome her to a new location, but maybe if I can keep up with the watering or only let her get partial light with the blinds down, because typically I do open this all the way up, she might do better. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes and what I do. The last plant I have off of here is my Hoya coronosa. This is just the regular green one. She's also put out some major blooms. Can you guys see that right there? That is so crazy. And then there's another back there. Do you see it? Yeah, she stopped growing for the longest time. I got this one at the same time I got the Crimson Queen. And that's because I had her in my office in very low lighting. So she's barely starting to put out so much new growth and blooms and everything right now with this south-facing window. Same thing though, I can't keep up with the watering, and I want to say it's because it's also in a smaller pot. This one is, no, they're about the same size, but still in the original nursery pot it came in, and I, as you can tell, do have a trellis as well, so I think that's one of the reasons they are growing so crazy, is because they do like to have that support, and they're getting ample lighting here. It's just the humidity that lacks, and then the watering. And this, I personally think that if you water them consistently, humidity doesn't really have that big of a part to play in. But she looks pretty good. They both have like these little black spots, which I first thought were like mold, but I think they're just like freckles from sun stressing. I'm not sure. If you guys know, let me know. But it seems healthy overall and doesn't seem to be hurting them. And I have seen fungal before, and it didn't look like that. Like I said, it looks more like freckles than anything else. That does kind of look fungal. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. But, oh, this one. Yeah, maybe it is fungal. I don't know. I might have to cut this leaf off. Let me see. Or maybe I have flat mites. Look at that leaf. I haven't seen that before. Look at it. Huh. Okay. Note to self, don't touch any more plants. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to run this plant under a microscope to make sure. Okay. So now we're here at the ledge of my window. So we have my philodendron white ghost that I did chop up because it wasn't doing so good. And I've had those cuttings in there for a while. I could probably pot them up now, but I haven't. Right next to it, we have my variegated white paw succulent. I don't know why I said white paw, but my variegated bear paw succulents. It used to be a lot fuller, but I can't figure out the watering with it. She's still alive and she's growing, as you can tell, but not thriving, not doing its best, but still alive. Then we have my variegated euphorbia licata, I think it's how it's pronounced. This one's the one I said that it might have gotten damaged from the cold. You see this right here? That I think is cold damage, but I'm not sure. It was touching the window, and then when I turned it around, it had that big old ugly spot, and it was really pink at the time when it happened. So I think that's cold damage. I did have this outside, so it's pretty dirty. Oh, see, there's another one too. Before they were both potted separately, and then I potted them together. So I did name them Mary Kate and Ashley, because again, I didn't want multiple plants of the same plants in different areas. I wanted them just kind of together. So this one has grown a lot since I put it outside. Again, I'll insert pictures of when I first got them and then before I put them outside for the summer, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. They've grown immensely so much. The one that didn't like it was probably my cactus here. This is my spiralis cactus. There's obviously a spider on here, which I mean, I don't mind. I'm not particularly a fan of spiders, but there's a spider. I think there's no other pests on here. And I did spray down all my plants before bringing them in, and I did hose them down 2 days after just to make sure that the spray that I put in and the systemic didn't wash off. But yeah, there's a spider in here somewhere, obviously. But as you can tell, it got really leggy. It stopped turning when I put it outside, and it wasn't in an area where it got direct sun. And here, this is where it used to live before I put it outside. Always got direct sun, so I think that was a bad choice on my part. I'll probably just leave it here this summer. But this one really enjoyed it, which is interesting. Then we have my prickly pear cactus, or a puntia cactus. This one is doing like a flop thing. That's why I have supports. I'm not sure if it's due to overwatering or if it's due to lack of watering. It doesn't seem to be overwatered. So it could possibly be a lack of watering, but I notice it does the floppy thing when I water it. So I don't know. This plant's a little confusing for me. It was growing, as you can tell. I'll insert also pictures of this plant when I first got it. It's grown, but this one's still a puzzle to me. Then we have my two, I'm so sorry for the lighting, but we have my two baby cactus, which I absolutely love. This one's the first one I got, which my friend Melissa actually picked up for me. Just a mild turd in the bag from my big ass dog. Sorry. It happens. But anywho, my friend Melissa did pick this up for me when she went to Los Angeles with her friend. And I had told her I had been wanting one, so when she saw it, she offered it to me. I need to water this plant. Do you see the crinkling? So this plant kept yellowing and yellowing and yellowing, and now I know that it was due to a lack of watering. My thing with this plant is that it's a cactus. It doesn't need to be watered, but this one does like water. I did put it in the tank screen stuff, so it does need to be watered more frequently than being in a different soil. But if you have it in the right cactus type of soil, it needs a lot of water. Definitely water it. I mean, it's gonna tell you, but if you can see that distinct crinkling it has, that's because it needs water. So mine was being so severely, I guess, dehydrated, water deprived, that it was actually turning yellow. And I thought it was due to overwatering, so I almost lost her. So that's why we have a chop. This was the original base of my plant. I chopped it trying to save this half. They both made it, and it sprouted a new one, as you can see. So I'm very happy. I purchased this one as a backup, thinking that this one wasn't going to make it. But she did, so now I have two, and this one has also grown a lot since I put it outside. So I most likely would put these both back outside for the summer when it's time. Love those plants. And then this is the top cut of my frosted heart syngonium. So really, really pretty. I actually really like this plant a lot. It's one of my favorites originally, till I started neglecting it and ignoring it. It was hard to decide where to chop it. I did leave it with some base, just because they all had growth points. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this makes it and I could just pot it up. But as you saw, the stem of it has a lot of growth points, so I'm sure it's going to make a full recovery. They're just going to be tiny. And the last plant that I have to show you guys is my Philodendron Fortigos. This is the base. As you can see, it has started with a new plant. It's very juvenile form and it's all white. The leaves on the other one were all green. They were all coming out green. Now we have another new leaf coming in too, and another growth point activated there at the bottom. So we'll see how this goes. This one also suffered from severe underwatering. Okay, so that's basically it. Those are all my plants. I do have a few that I still have outside that I have not transitioned inside, and I don't believe that I will. One of them is a Monstera, and that's because I wanted to acclimate all season long. And before anyone says, you can't do that, I have a reason why. So where I go drop off my daughter for school, and there's a house right across the street that has a Monstera that's beautiful. I mean, it's huge. It's so pretty. Their house faces in the same direction that our house is in, and they have it in their front porch, and that plant is kept outside all year round. We live in sunny California. Yes, it does get cold here during the winter, but not super cold. We don't get snow. So I want to do the same thing. I want to leave the Monstera outside because it's big. I want to leave it outside all year round. I do need to upsize its pot because it's frequently thirsty, so that's a task that we need to do. But she's going to be outside all year round. And I do know that she may get uglier before she gets better, but that's just something that I'm willing to do. Besides, I do have 2 other Monsteras. So, and I do want to have a green one instead of just the variegated one, because the ones that I have are variegated, but still, that one needs to be outside because she's a beast. I'll again insert pictures. I also have a monkey tail and 2 Dracaenas. I have a dragon tree Dracaena, I think is what it's called, and then a corn plant Dracaena, which technically are my kids, but they have been doing so bad lately that I'm kind of just letting them die. Not gonna lie. They're still alive though, so I water them. And then I also have a monkey tail, which I'm pretty sure is dead. That's out there, and a couple of succulents that did stay out there all year long last winter as well. So those are also out there, but I am not necessarily caring for them. Oh, and I have aloes. I do have several aloes out there, and then another succulent, which I have no idea what it's called. But if I have footage, I'll show you guys. I just don't want to go outside and film like this with the tripod and my phone. Typically, I'll just do it on Instagram stories. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys liked my collection. And I think I've downsized a lot, both from gifting and getting rid of plants, and then also by some of them just unfortunately dying. But that's my house plant collection. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully you're willing to stick around and be a part of my little community here. But anyways, thanks again for watching. Just have a good one. Bye.